Mantras of our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, it is quite possible for you to do the sadhana at home and in the midst of your work, many do so. What is necessary in the beginning is to remember the Divine Mother as much as possible. Concentrate on her in the heart for a time every day, if possible, thinking of her as the Divine Mother, to aspire to feel her there within you. Offer her your works and pray that from within she may guide and sustain you. With my love and blessings, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Words of our Divine Mother, taken from the collective works of our Divine Mother, question and answers of 1953, page 139. Topic: Question: what is the difference between prayer and aspiration? The child says, Sweet Mother, what is the difference between prayer and aspiration? For this, our Divine Mother says there are several kinds of prayers. There is the purely mechanical, material prayer with words which have been learned and are mechanically repeated. That does not signify anything much, and that has usually one single result, that of quietening the person who prays. For if a prayer is repeated several times, the words end up by making you calm. Our Divine Mother says there is a prayer which is a spontaneous formula for expressing something precise which one wants to ask for. One prays for this thing or that. One prays for one thing or another. One prays for somebody or for a circumstance or for oneself. Our Divine Mother says there is a point when aspiration and prayer meet. For there are prayers which are spontaneous formulation of a lived experience. These spring up already from within the being like something that's the expression of a profound experience, and which offers thanksgiving for that experience, or asks its continuation, or asks for its explanation also. And that indeed is quite close to aspiration. But aspiration is not necessarily formulated in words, or if it is formulated in words, it is almost a moment of invocation.
Contemptuously creating worlds this day. Who made the vanity the waving star? Not he who has reared his temple in my soul and made his sacred floor my human heart. My God is will and triumphs in his power. My God is love and sweetness of his own. Love's golden wings have power to fan thy void. The eyes of love gaze star-like through death's night. The feet of love tread kid, hardest word.
Our Divine Mother says, you aspire for a certain state. For instance, you have found something in yourself that is not in keeping with your ideal, a moment of darkness and ignorance, perhaps even of ill will, something that's not in harmony with what you want to realize. Then that is not going to be formulated in words. That will be like a springing flame and like an offering made of a living experience, asking to grow larger, be magnified, and ever more and more clear and precise. All that may be put into words later if one tries to remember and note down one's experience. Our Divine Mother says, but aspiration always springs up like a flame that rises high and carries in itself the thing one desires to be, what one desires to do, or what one desires to have. I use the word desire, but it is truly here the word aspire should be used, for that doesn't have either the quality or form of a desire. Our Divine Mother says it is truly like a great purifying flame of will, and it carries in its core the thing that asks to be realized. For instance, if you have done something that you regret having done, if that has unhappy consequences which disturb things and several people are implicated, you do not know the reactions of others, but you yourself wish that what has been done must or may take a turn for the best, and that if there is a mistake, it may be understood, and that no matter what the mistake is, this may be for you an opportunity for a greater progress, a greater discipline, a new ascent towards the divine, a door open on a future that you want to be more clear and true and intense. All this is gathered here. Divine Mother points to the heart like a force, and then it surges up and rises in a great moment of ascent, and at times without the shadow of a formulation, without words, without expression, but like a springing flame. That indeed is the true aspiration. That may happen 100,000 times daily if one is in that state in which one constantly wants to progress and be more true and more full in harmony with what the divine will wants of us. Our Divine Mother says prayer is much more an external thing, generally about a precise fact and always formulated, for it is the formula that makes the prayer. One may have an aspiration and transcribe it as a prayer, but aspiration goes beyond prayer in every way. It is much closer and much more, as it were self forgetful, living only in the thing one wants to do and the offering of all that one wants to do to the divine. You may pray in order to ask for something. You may also pray to thank the divine for what he has given you, and that prayer is much greater. It may be called as an act of thanksgiving. You may pray in gratitude for the aspect of kindness, the divine has shown to you, for what he has done for you, for what you see in him, and the praise you want to offer him. All this may take the form of a prayer. It is decidedly the highest prayer, for it is not exclusively preoccupied with oneself. It is not an egoistic prayer. Our Divine Mother says, certainly, one may have an aspiration in all domains, but the very center of aspiration is in the psychic being. While one may pray in all the domains, the prayer belongs to the domain in which one prays. One may make purely material, physical, vital, mental, psychic, spiritual prayers, and each one has its special character and a special value. There is a kind of prayer at once spontaneous and unselfish, which is like a great call, usually not for one's own self personally, but like something that may be called as an intercession with the divine. It is extremely powerful. I have had countless instances of things which have given realized almost instantaneously due to the prayers of this kind. It implies a great faith, a great ardor, a great sincerity, a great simplicity of heart, also something that does not calculate, does not plan, does not bargain, does not give the idea of receiving in exchange. For majority of men give with one hand and hold the other to get something in exchange. The largest number of prayers are of that sort. But there are others of the kind I have described, acts of thanksgiving, a kind of canticle, and these are very good, says our Divine Mother. And then our Divine Mother continues to say, to be clearer, we may say that prayer is a formulation of words, but the words may have different values according to the state in which they are formulated. And one may aspire, but it is difficult to pray without praying for someone or to something. But it is difficult to pray without praying to someone. For instance, those who have a conception of the universe from which they have more or less driven out the idea of the divine, these people eventually or evidently cannot pray, for to whom would they pray? Unless they pray to themselves, which is not the custom. But one can aspire for something without having any faith in the divine. There are people who do not believe in the existence of a God, but who believe in progress. They have the idea that the world is a constant stage for progress, and this progress will go on indefinitely without stopping towards an ever ending greater goal. Well, these people can have a very great aspiration for progress, but they do not need any kind of a divine existence for that. Aspiration necessarily implies a faith, but not necessarily faith in the divine being, while prayer cannot exist if it is not addressed to a divine being. And pray to what? One does not pray to something that has no personality. One prays to someone who can hear us. If there is nobody to hear us, how could one pray? Hence, if one prays, this means that even when one does not acknowledge it, one has faith in somebody infinitely higher than us, infinitely more powerful, who can change our destiny, changes also. If one prays so as to be heard, this is the essential difference. So, the more intellectual people admit aspiration and say that prayer is something inferior, the mystics tell you that aspiration is as very well, but if you want to be really heard and want the divine to listen to you, you must pray and pray with the simplicity of a child, a perfect candor, that is, a perfect trust. I need this or that, whether it is for a moral need or a physical or a material. I ask for it, give it to me. Or else you have given me what I've asked for, you made me realize concretely those experiences which were unknown to me and now are marvels. I can attain at will, yes. I am infinitely grateful to you. And I offer a prayer of thanksgiving to sing your praise and thank you for your intervention. It is like that. Our Divine Mother says, to aspire, it is not necessary to direct the aspiration to someone towards someone. One has an aspiration for a certain state of being, for knowledge, for realization, a state of consciousness. One aspires for something, but it is not necessarily a prayer. Prayer is something additional, a personal thing addressed to a personal being, that is something like a force or a being who can hear you and answer you. Otherwise, you can't ask for anything. says our Divine Mother. Question, sweet mother. When you come to the divine, you must abandon all conceptions. You said this, but instead of doing that, you throw your conceptions upon the divine and want the divine to obey them on 19th May 1929. For this, our Divine Mother says, yes, everyone, all the while, constantly, if the divine is not as you understand him, well, that is not the divine. If he does not do what you want, if he does not act as you think he should, if he has not the character you lent him, it is not divine. I recognize you as a divine if you do exactly what I want you to do. Naturally, people are not sincere enough to admit that, but it is so. So I could give you millions of examples, and there is not a single one among you who does not do this unconsciously. It is a rule. One says, yes, I'm quite ready to surrender to the divine and do his will, to accept his presence, his action, but on a condition that it is like this or like that, and that he thinks like that, feels like that, or acts like that. At the very first opportunity, I shall show you a little example dangling before your eyes, and that will not fall. It will come one of these days, quite soon, says our Divine Mother.